Hey there, and welcome back to another episode. The Mindful Minute, your space to pause, reflect, and grow one conversation at a time. I'm your host, Ritu, and today's topic might just change your relationships, your mindset, and your mental energy. We are talking about the power of saying no. That tiny word that holds so much weight. So many of us struggle with it. But learning how to say no with confidence is one of the most powerful tools for self respect and self development. So, if you have ever found yourself overcommitted, burnout, or quietly resentful because you said yes when you really want to say no, this episode is for you. Let's start with the obvious question. Why is it so hard to say no? From a young age, we are taught to be polite, cooperative, helpful. These are not bad traits, but when they go unchecked, we start equating saying yes with being a good person. Saying no feels selfish. We fear rejection, conflict, or disappointing someone. We worry people will think we are difficult or unkind. But here's the truth, saying no doesn't make you rude, it makes you honest. And honesty is the foundation of healthy relationships with others and with yourself. Let's talk about people pleasing. People pleasing is the habit of putting others' need ahead of your own to avoid conflict or to feel liked. It's often rooted in low self worth, believing that your value comes from what you do for others. But the real self worth doesn't come from knowing your values, respecting your own limits, and trusting that saying no doesn't mean you are less worthy of love or connection. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to explain your no's like it's an apology. Boundaries are not barrier, they are bridge to healthier living. Every time you say yes to something you don't really want or can't handle, you are saying no to something else. Your time, your peace, your energy, your goals. Here's a real example. A friend once took on extra freelance work because they didn't want to disappoint the client. That project led to sleepless nights, missed workout, and a short temper with their own family. That one yes led to dozen unspoken no's to themselves. When you keep saying yes out of fear, obligation, or guilt, you don't just exhaust yourself, you also build silent resentment. And that's a slow poison for any relationship. Let's reframe boundaries. Boundaries aren't about walls, they are about clarity. They define where you end and someone else begins. A healthy boundary says, I care about you, but I also care about myself. I want to help, but not at the cost of my well being. I am responsible for my feelings, not yours. Boundaries teach others how to treat you and remind you how to treat yourself. And remember, people who are used to you having no boundaries might not like it when you start setting them. That's okay. The discomfort isn't a sign you are wrong, it's a sign you are growing. How to start saying no without guilt. So, how do you start saying no without feeling like the worst person on earth? Let's break it down. 1. Pause before committing. Buy yourself time. Say, let me check my schedule and get back to you. This gives you space to respond, not react. Be direct, not defensive. You don't need a 5 paragraph essay. I can't take that on right now is enough. No is a complete sentence. Offer an alternative if appropriate. I can't join this weekend, but I would love to catch up next week. Practice in low stakes situations. Start with small thing, declining a favor, skipping a meeting you are not needed in, saying no to group chat. Sit with the discomfort. Guilt doesn't mean you did something wrong. It means you are breaking an old pattern. Over time, saying no becomes a form of self respect, not self defense. Boundaries and personal growth. When you start honoring your limits, you create space for rest, creativity, aligned goals, and real connection. You begin to live by choice, not by default. That's where real self development starts, not in doing more, but in being more intentional. You become more present, more focused, and ironically more generous because you are no longer running on empty. Protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's foundational. Alright, my friends, that's it for today's episode of the Mindful Minute. Remember, every time you say no to something that drains you, you say yes to something that nourishes you. And that's not just self care, that's self respect. If this episode spoke to you, I would love for you to share it with someone who struggles with boundaries. Let's normalize saying no and celebrate the growth it brings. Until next time, honor your space, trust your voice, and never apologize for protecting your peace. If you like this video, please like and subscribe.